Hello family, friends, and patriots. Well, we just got back from the land we bought, and last time we talked I told you that we were intending to turn that into a demonstration site for holistic management, and while establishing a food security and a food sustainability system here in Colorado Springs. Well, in this video I would like to talk about what is the next steps. Well, the first thing is you've got to do a needs assessment. In other words, is there a real need for you to start out and create a food security system or a sustainable food system here within Colorado Springs? Well, the answer to that obviously is yes. As we have seen, our food system didn't fare very well under COVID-19, and we were at the mercy of the large packers for our meat supply, and many farmers lost their animals just because there was no place to process them. So what makes it any different now? Well, it's no different now. As a matter of fact, it's probably worse, because we now have large chunks of land being bought up by China, being bought up by millionaires and billionaires like Bill Gates and Ted Turner and the person who owned Amazon. All of this is aimed at controlling the food system. And indeed, we do not want to turn over our food system to either large countries and or individuals who then can dictate not only price, but type of food that you'll receive. So the need is there. The next thing you got to do is look at a market. Do you have a market? Is there a market that wants to buy your product not only now, but into the future? And we've done that assessment, and obviously if your food supply starts to dry up and you let people know that, they're going to want to have food somewhere. So there's going to be a demand for sustainable food systems into the future, and then you can fill the demand. The next thing is, to do this, you have to have some place to produce it. In other words, you have to identify enough producers to supply the demand. It's a supply and demand system. We've always lived with that. I mean, that used to be the norm, supply and demand. That dictated price, dictated production, all the things that go with production. So we looked around here and we have identified, not only us, I mean, obviously on 40 acres we're not going to be able to supply enough food to feed the area and satisfy the demand that's there with the customers from the market analysis that we've done. So we've gone out now and reached out to other producers and said, would you be interested in becoming part of this food security, food sustainability system that we're establishing? And we've had some good responses from that, and we're starting to build a network. So you build a network of producers. Well, not only do you have to produce, you also then have to have some place to process. I mean, people can raise all the cows they want, but if they got no place to process them, which has been the issue lately. Today I talked to a couple farmers about this very situation, and they said it was over 16 to 18 months before they could get their cattle into being processed. So the good news is there is a market there for somebody who would like to invest into processing centers, and they'd probably be very successful because the supply has backed up and the demand is high to get animals processed. But we've identified one here for our needs and got ourselves kind of to the head of the list, which is a good deal. So we're moving forward on the processing side of that, and that's good. The other issue that you got to look at, a lot of people forget about this, is that although you can produce and you can process, not everybody wants to be buying food over a period of time. In other words, you're not going to be able to have people that are going to buy a whole cow or half a cow at a time because they just don't have the storage for it. You have to have cold storage. I mean, when we were on the farm, we had 7 35 cubic foot freezers that we put all of our beef in, and then we could sell it or hold it for people as we went throughout the year as the demand occurred. So you need a place for storage of the product that you have processed before you get it to the consumer. The last thing you need to do, of course, is that you've now produced, processed, you've put it in cold storage, and or you need to deliver it, which means you have to establish a distribution system. And this used to be the big issue many years ago, is that we could produce all the food we needed. We did not have the distribution system capable of distributing the food to the places that needed it. Well, that's an area we're looking at right now. So we have identified the market. We have identified what we need to produce. We've identified where we can process it. Now we're working on cold storage and distribution. And I will do a report on that the next time we talk. Until then, I appreciate you joining me. We'll keep you updated as we move forward on this project. And I have been documenting it so that we can put it out at the end to see how the whole thing went. If you have any questions, please contact me here at my email. I'd be glad to answer that for you. If you would like to help in this endeavor, I always take donations at gofarmu@icloud.com. Or if you just want to tune in, subscribe under YouTube or find me on Rumble. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you again soon.